Good. Just checking. Hi, everyone. Hello, hello. Heather and Carissa here doing another show for empowered entrepreneurs. And just checking sound to make sure it's okay. Oh. Yeah, okay, cool. We're good. So, what's up, man?
A lot.
I know. Huh?
I can't even, I don't even know where to start, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Maybe you should go first. I feel like I'm still kind of wrapping my head around everything, but
yeah. Same here. Yeah, see, it's like I just smile at you because it's like, where do I start?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. Well, how was the event? Let's start there.
I'm still recovering, to be honest with you. But it was really good. Like, if I generalize everything, it was really good.
Okay.
I learned a lot while I was there. I made some good connections, got some feedback, really good feedback, and just a lot of actually self-examination too, because while you're there, you're obviously around other people that not necessarily do the same thing as you, but are selling products.
Yeah.
And so it just inspires you to kind of look within and kind of go, okay, where can I improve? What else can I do? Am I happy with what I'm presenting? That type of thing.
Right.
And so I've been kind of thinking really, really long and hard about that and trying to figure out kind of my next step. And the funny thing is while I was there, because the show was from Sunday to Wednesday.
Okay.
So it was 4 days, and it was from 9 to 6 every day. And we set up 2 days prior to that. So we were in Vegas for a whole week, So I had a lot of time to think about what I wanted to do. And while I was at the show for those 4 days, I was like, oh, I need to make more birthday cards. I need to do this. I want to add, these products to my line. And then when I left the show and started just kind of saying, okay, just let it marinate a little bit, take some time, don't get too excited, and like, before you make any rash decisions, like, let it kind of sit and marinate for a little while so your mind can kind of settle down and think. I started going, I don't want to make more birthday cards. I don't want to make tea towels, or I don't know, whatever the heck I was thinking about. Like, I don't want to do that,
That's so funny because that is like, seriously, you perfectly described what I went through from VidCon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, when I was at VidCon, I was just like, I don't even know. I was so inspired. I want to do it all. Like, I just was like, I can't wait to go back home, make every single video, like, ever, and just live stream 24/7 and do all these things, But then, like, yeah, after a week, I was just like, but I don't know. Like, it was good to have that, like, flame relit, but then, like, you also coming back, it's like, okay, but what about the strategy? You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah. Exactly. I think that's like the key word for me now. It's, okay, the fire is now lit, but what am I going to focus that passion toward? And what am I going to do with it instead of just exploding everywhere and trying to, like, I don't know, do everything and make it all work, So now I'm kind of, I have an idea, but I don't want to jump into it. I don't want to just say, because it's just going to be like me at the show at Las Vegas Market going, oh, I'm going to do more birthday cards, more thank you cards, more products, more this. I'm going to expand my line. I'm going to start doing this and this and that. And I'm going to design every day and, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And now that I'm kind of, you know, I said, okay, now let's recover. Let's get sleep. Like, let's do all that. It made me realize, okay, that's not the right strategy, you know? And the thing that I realized most when I was there was there's enough of what I currently have as far as product goes. There's enough of that out there. Like, I mean, I know those illustrations and those designs are personal to me and they're individual and unique to me, but I feel like it's not enough. Like, I'm not exactly where I need to be when it comes to like my line and my product, you know, and that is one thing that was an eye-opener for me when I got back. I realized I still want to sell product, but it has to have more. Like, there has to be more. And so that is the thing that I'm kind of like allowing to organically grow. Now, that's kind of where I'm at now that I'm back. I have an idea, like I said, but I'm not going to jump on it yet. But it has to do with that discussion we had a while back about doing a line specifically for entrepreneurs. And
Yeah.
I feel like it was just fate kind of saying, okay, you went full circle. You did the thing that you said you wanted to do. You wanted to go to Las Vegas Market and showcase your product. You got good feedback. You know, you spent the money and you did that and you got exposure, but now what? You know?
Right.
And
Yeah.
so now I'm like, okay, strategy, not just strategy, but just like like looking within, you know?
Yeah. So, I mean, I was the same way, and I had so many ideas after VidCon, but I don't even think I pursued any of them. I'm sure. Well, so here's what it comes down to. Everything that like every conversation I had, every inspiring feeling I had, every panel I sat on, like everything I learned and just everything I experienced is data, you know? So it's like, it's in here and it's affecting everything. And I can't really say like, oh, it's because of this, but it's kind of what you're going through where things come full circle at some point. Like I'll, you know, 2 weeks from now, I'll be like that. I learned that from VidCon. That was an inspiration, which led me to this, da, 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 you know? So I'm just kind of like waiting for all of that to happen.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way because I don't want to rush the process because if I do, it's just going to be another forced strategy where, you know, it's because I feel like I'm running out of time or I'm putting pressure on myself, that type of thing. So I'm allowing the process to happen where it's really just going to come to me when the time is right.
Yeah, it's so funny because it it seems so similar for both of us because like, you know, I'll think back to live streams that we had earlier on in the year and both of us were just like, oh my God, there's like not enough time in the day. You know, there's like all this stuff to get done. But it's so cool that both of us are like, you know, organically.
Yeah. And I think it's because I think we're both ready to just kind of, we've learned that forcing it is just gonna do nothing but make us run in circles, you know? Whereas if we just continue to work hard and try to just slowly progress forward, it's better to slowly progress forward, in my opinion, than to take 10 strides and then 9 strides backwards.
Right.
You know, I'd rather slowly take one step, small step, no matter how small. I'd rather do that and then really like get my mind blown in a way because it all clicks compared to like doing all that work and then going backwards and then doing all that work and going backwards.
I think that's what it is. It's like I used to just feel so stressed and now there's so much to do, but I'm not like stressed. Like I'm sleeping fine, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like the worrying. I guess it's that, you know. I think these live streams have really helped. Like being able to talk it out with you, and like, you know, I think both of us have experienced this all the time, like in our lives. You know, we're like 32 freaking years old, but I think like being able to talk it out with you and like actually think of how a similar situation applies in my life, like from your life, it's like it actually helps to really reflect on like the full circle.
Yeah.
So that when it happens again, it's just like, oh, well, I could stress, but why, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I 100% agree. So I guess my strategy now is uh, I'm going to slowly but surely revamp Creative Cartel's brand. Um, slowly but surely.
I,
So
I'm like, I really think you should do the entrepreneur thing.
yes, I know it's definitely going to revolve around that somehow, because
Yeah.
I really feel like that's just who I am, and it's what I connect with, and it's something that'll never go away for me. You know, even if I ended up, I don't know, which I don't see happening, but even if I ended up getting a full-time job somewhere, it's still going to be so interesting to me that I would still want to talk about it, or I would still want to be involved somehow, even if I wasn't in the entrepreneurship field, or whatever you want to call it, industry anymore, you know, because it's just so interesting and exciting to me.
Right. But I think especially with your product, it's not even like you have to be an entrepreneur. You
Yeah.
can have the entrepreneurial mindset and be a full-time employee. But the products that you
Yeah.
offer are going to help that person who's like the self-starter and takes initiative and is super creative, you know, and always comes up with new ideas and doesn't know how to like write them all down and stuff. Like that's where you can really um, help people like rein in, you know, like take that like energy and like let's map it out, you know, like that's what you can offer.
So the on the ride back home from the airport, Charlie and I took the flyaway, and we were kind of talking, and I was telling him that, like, you know, not just logistically, you know, from the event itself, did I learn a lot, but just personally, I learned a lot, because it forced me to really analyze not just my product, but me in general, and like what I want to do, and why I'm still pursuing something that isn't, out of all the businesses that I own, it's the smallest money maker, you know. And from a, you know, from an entrepreneur standpoint, yes, it makes money, but it makes very little money, you know. And I could easily just go, well, it's the numbers show that I should focus my attention here, because this is where the money comes from. But I don't want to do that. You know, there's something in me that is saying, don't do that yet. You know, give yourself a little time. Don't just like throw it away and give up so quickly, you know. And so I was telling him, I said, I feel like everything that I have in my line, except for a few choice products, I just want to like get rid of and just start all over again. So he was like, well, why don't you do that? You know, like if that's where you feel like you want to go, then just do it. So I decided that slowly but surely, like I said, I'm going to rebrand, and I'm going to take down my online shop, my Shopify store. I'm going to take that down. I'm going to convert my website back to an informational website for now. And I'm going to try and sell off all the inventory that I've purchased on Etsy. So I'm going to just try, because it sells really well on Etsy. So I'm just going to put it on there, and then I'm going to try and sell it off. And I'm going to really start from scratch. What products am I going to create? I don't know yet. That's the thing that I don't know. But one thing that I also realized that I want to kind of rebrand Creative Cartel into is what you were talking about a long time ago, when we were talking about like you vlogging and and all that. So I want to, for now, until I figure out what I'm going to do, I'm going to refocus Creative Cartel into a blog while I just hash out all the details. So,
okay, two things. King Flip says, is timing not a concern with letting things come to you? Is there value in failing faster?
there could be, you know.
So for me, I would say yes, there is. Okay, I have so many thoughts. So for my first year of entrepreneurship, I felt like the whole year was just me failing really fast every day. It's just like I couldn't get my feet off the ground. Like I just couldn't get into a rhythm. It was so hard. Like every day was that timing, that sense of urgency. Like oh my gosh, and mostly because during my first year of entrepreneurship, my 90% of where I was directing myself was wherever the money was. So that that's different. And I think now that I'm in my second year, and I'm still broke, but I'm not. I have enough like what is it called? Like monthly income coming in where I'm at least breaking even. So I'm not making money yet, but I think like what I've learned is that I'm in a position now where not one thing is going to hold me back from anything. The only thing that's going to hold me back is myself. That's it, period. So like I'll get like someone can ask me, oh, let's collab, or oh, I want to hire you, or oh, I'll be inspired and be like, there's this other project, there's this other idea. But like if I'm not feeling it, it doesn't feel right, I just don't stress about it anymore. Whereas before I'd add everything to the to-do list and just die.
Yeah.
Like it's awful.
I have something to add to that as well.
Yeah, go ahead.
That saying, you never know until you try. Especially for new entrepreneurs, there's no reason why you shouldn't try and take on as much as you personally can. You don't want to exhaust yourself, but you also don't want to deny that opportunity, whether it's a success or a failure. I always tell people, if you can, you should, because you should always try. And even if you fail, at least there's no regret of wondering what would have happened. So there's not necessarily a bad thing, or like a bad way to learn from failure.
Yeah, see, like I don't even consider it a failure, because like what does that mean? I'm still here,
Yeah, exactly. And I think, but I think it just depends on where you're at in the journey, because there are moments like Las Vegas market for me is a good example. I didn't necessarily, in numbers, I guess, I failed because I spent a lot of money, but I didn't make it back.
That was my second point, was that like you could have that perception of that it was a failure.
Yeah. And I know that's not necessarily what he's asking, but like I'll use Las Vegas market as an example. I had to do that because it's going to propel me into a place where I can now sit and let it sail for a little while. But I had to fail, I had to quote unquote fail to get to that point. So I feel like my answer personally to that question is there are seasons where you got to fail a couple times and fail quick so that you can make some progress. And then there's going to be moments where the right thing to do in your gut is to just sit and let it happen.
Well, okay. So here's like the difference between you now and Carissa, like before we were doing this. Because I felt like if I were talking to you, like even if you were talking to you before we did this, like you were so like, you got to have a business plan, dude. Like you got to have like you have to like look at the numbers and calculate all that stuff and like optimize for money and stuff like that. And I definitely needed to hear that at that time. But I think it's so awesome that you just said that, the thing that you're passionate about makes the least amount of money, because one of the things that I've been thinking about in building a personal brand is that it is totally the long game. Like you can't do it by money. At least that's not how I'm doing it at all. Like I just, it's purely like what makes me happy and what I feel good about, because because then, okay, for example, VidCon, right? That was a 4-day convention, and I had to pay to get in. I had to pay for food, and that's 4 days that I wasn't doing client work. I wasn't, doing anything that made money. Nothing. VidCon, there's no money making anything. So you could, on paper, consider that a loss or failure or whatever, but oh my God, like I can't even explain to you how much I got out of that, how much I needed to go through that and be there. And I can't tell you numbers wise how that all translates, but it's definitely made me, more prepared, a stronger person, more educated on like the industry that I'm in and what I'm trying to do, and just getting all the data from talking to other creators and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep. That's exactly how I feel about Las Vegas market. And I did the numbers because you know me, like you just said, I'm a numbers person. So let's just say, because I'm going to be completely transparent, the whole thing, minus food, I'm not even going to count food, but travel and the show and everything, it cost me about $6,500 to showcase. Okay. I made one order.
Are you serious?
Yes. And it did not, it was not a $6,800 order. So I'm at a loss. You know what I mean? However, like you said, it depends on how you want to look at it. I can completely come back to you and go, I am destroyed. Like I completely failed. I think the better thing to do is close the business and just pursue the other businesses that I have. I could easily do that, but sometimes you gotta just trust your gut, and my gut is saying, I think it's just your approach. You're just not honing in. You're trying to cast too big of a net. And if I cast a smaller net instead of a wider net, I can really capture something special. And so I'm gonna give it a chance, like with any business, every business is a risk. No matter how many numbers you can do, no matter how many times you calculate and you say, okay, I need X amount of sales to make my money, chances are it's not going to go that way.
But see, what I think is so interesting, because like, yeah, you're at a loss, and I could say the same thing for VidCon. I mean, I can't say $6,500, but at these types of events, you're surrounded by your competition. You're surrounded by people who are doing the exact same thing you are. And like, I'm not trying to boast or say, I'm the best at what I'm doing, but being there, I was inspired, but there was a huge part of me that was also like, wow, I'm going to make it. Like, after talking to so many creators, I just was like, I don't know why, but I feel like I could, like, I'm going to make it, and I'm going to make it faster than they are. And I can't really explain why, but I feel like you had that same experience where it's like you see all the product.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's just like, I can create something that is going to click. Like, it's going to work.
And I think that's the difference, like you were just talking about, having these meetings, I think is really helpful, because while I was there, they kind of try and keep similar products in similar areas because, it just makes sense. So I had 4 girls with me that were neighbors of mine that were also selling cards and other products. And we had all known each other online, we were online friends. And then we finally got to meet in person, and they were awesome. Like, they made the show so much fun because we were all there together. We were kind of all experiencing the same thing. And we all kind of spent money. And so we just, we got to know each other. We were able to talk shop, and we had such a good time, But that comparison feeling can never go away, like, as much as I think their product was awesome, they had great stuff, as beautiful as they were people, like, you look at their stuff and you're like, okay, theirs is good, mine's good too though, and then I look at theirs and I'm like, oh, they have more of this, so I should do more of that, but my way, and so it's one thing that I also confirmed there was, okay, I can do this. but I've got to do it my way on my terms. I can't just take what I saw and then try and duplicate that. I can't make more birthday cards because she had more birthday cards. I can't make those things because she had those things or whatever. I've got to do it on my terms.
So
You know?
here's a really practical example of doing this, like, do it on your terms thing, that really changed how I see this now moving forward. Like I always had this feeling, but it ironed it, and I'm like, I'm doing this forever. I don't know if you saw, well, you probably didn't see it because you're at your event, but on Thursday I had a public speaking opportunity.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's like this female entrepreneur organization at WeWork where they get, it's a platform. They're trying to create a platform, and they have like educational events, networking events, da da da. So they had this thing called a story slam, where it's kind of like spoken word, where you just get up on the mic and you just talk. But instead of like having it rhyme and stuff, you just tell a story, and it's like between 5 and 10 minutes with no paper. Like, you're not looking at anything. You're just up there like telling a story. So long story short, because there's a vlog on it that you guys can watch, but I was on the stage with 11 other women who, seriously, like, what, 2 authors of books, like one lady who's like founded this organization that does like this global conference worldwide, like, these women are incredible. Like, I honestly never thought I would ever share a stage with like that prestige and that reputation. Now, if you had asked me like a year and a half ago what to talk about, what to wear, what my 3-line bio was supposed to be, it was just, it would have been, I did everything opposite. So everyone on the stage had, a 3-piece suit, tailored skirt, business formal, business casual, like straight up business, okay, like heels, the whole thing. I rolled up there with my Postmates t-shirt and shorts and chucks and my snapback. And
Nice.
then, like, yeah, and then, everything, well, I all of their stories were incredible. I hope that they post the videos of them, but also I messed up like halfway through. I completely blinked out, like totally just blinked out. And every second that passed by obviously felt like eternity. And I don't know, like after a few seconds, I was like, it's not going to come to me. I'm having an ADHD moment. So I just picked up my phone and just looked at the notes, because I was like, well, it's not going to come to me. No one's going to give me a hint as to what the hell my next thing would be. And then I picked right back up and finished. But watching my performance and like getting feedback after, everyone was like, that your stumble like added to it, because it made it more like, they would never be on the stage. They would never do something like that. And your worst fear when you're public speaking is to stumble, right? And then it just happened, but it was still great. Like, I still delivered my message. It was well received. It was inspiring, da da da. So it's like, just going back to being who you are, and not, they're doing this, so you should do that. Like, I'm so glad I rolled up in a t-shirt and shorts.
Yeah.
And every person, I swear to God, every person who I would have talked to would be like, what should I wear? They would have been like, of course, business attire. Of course.
Yeah.
But you got to do it your way.
Exactly. Yeah. It's funny you say that, because there was one day, I forgot when it was, but I had like my realtor hat on. So I was showing a house to someone, and I showed up in like yoga pants and flip-flops, because a client was like, oh, can you show me this house right now? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I was going to a vacant house thinking no one was going to be there, and I show up, and here's this other realtor in, like you said, complete like pantsuit. It's 100 degrees out, yet she has a blazer on, and no hate to that,
Yeah.
Like, everyone should represent themselves the way that they see is appropriate. But I strolled up, and my clients had no problem whatsoever. And they saw the house, they loved it, and great. You know what I mean? I think just accepting who you are and what you do, you'll attract the right people
that won't judge you for that.
That are like, okay, great. You know,
Yeah.
saw the house, no problem. I don't care if she's in yoga pants, because when I said right now, she was able to. If she had to take an hour to get ready, then that would have been more of a problem for them. So I think it just goes along the lines of, you just got to be you, and you should always represent yourself the way that you want to be seen. It's like your whole thing with personal branding, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Why wear a pantsuit if that's not what you wear to work on a daily basis?
Yeah, it would have been stupid, you know? It would have been totally dumb, and I knew I was going to vlog the whole thing, so, like, when have I ever worn like that in my vlogs, you know? It would have just been like, but I just know, oh my God, like, if I had asked my mom, she would have been like, oh, yeah, like, what are you wearing? For sure, like a skirt or something, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to see what you come up with, dude. And I'm happy to help however I can. Like, I have some ideas too that, like, I really think you should still do maybe not the vlogger thing. You know how I was like, make a notebook that was like for vloggers? Because like, just even in the past 6 months, my observation when it comes to YouTubers and vlogging is that there's starting to become more of a, it's like I don't know, it's like someone threw stuff in the air and it's like starting to settle into categories, I guess. And I want to say more like personal brand, because it's not like YouTuber, it's not Instagrammer, it's not like Facebook or Viner or whatever. It's like you spread yourself across whatever platform that you can. And I feel having something, because I still use your notebook, dude. I have it right here. So like, you know, people could say, oh yeah, there's no need for stationery or whatever, but no, like, this is right here. It's like actually breaking because I've like treated this thing like crap. But
awesome. That's what they're for, you know. I agree, because I'm a techie, you know. Like, I have my iPad, I have my laptop, I have my phone, I have Todoist, I have Evernote, I have my calendar, I have my email. Like, but sometimes you just need a pen and paper really quick. You know what I mean? It's just, you just got to have a place, like whether it's a Post-it or a notebook or whatever you want to use. Like, there's just nothing like pen and paper sometimes. Because
I 100% agree.
You know, but yeah, I'm excited too, because I just have the feeling that, I know we talked about it a long time ago, and I was telling you I want to do stationery for entrepreneurs. That's what I want to focus on. And I think the only reason why I didn't was because I had already invested in inventory that I didn't know what to do with. So I was just going to keep propelling myself forward, because I told myself that this year was the year I was going to do my first ever wholesale trade show. Like, I told myself that that's what I was going to do. So I wasn't going to go back on my word to myself. You know, even if I spent $6,500 or whatever it was, and whatever, even if I didn't make my money back, I feel like I still needed to do that, because it's just another like check off of my bucket list of things as an entrepreneur that I set out to do 5 years ago, and I finally got to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like my boosted board.
Yeah,
$1,500.
Yeah.
Why?
So
you know?
I'm really excited. And I think being able to blog about it and just kind of blog my everyday life. I mean, on top of Creative Cartel, there's a lot of entrepreneur related stuff that's going on anyway within my life. So that's stuff that I can throw into my blog. And like I said, I want that to kind of be more of the focal point for now. And who knows, maybe that'll be the focal point forever. I have no idea. But I'm just going to go with my gut on this one, and I'm just going to put it out there and just say, that's what I'm going to do for now. And hey, I mean, it's a great way for me to just kind of figure it out along the way, but still have some kind of activity going on for the brand itself.
Yeah, well, I honestly think that it's a cool story. Like, it's something that I would want to know you know, like I said, I'm genuinely excited to see what you come up with. So I think like, you know, the more that you put yourself out there and share your story in terms of like, you know, this is the status, this is what's happening, and these are my goals, and this is what I'm learning. Like, I feel like anyone can get value from that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I hope so. I have a good feeling about it. So we'll
Yeah.
see what happens.
Thanks, RP Gaming. So RP Gaming noticed that I'm almost at 4K subscribers. I'm super excited.
That is awesome.
I know. Hopefully,
When we first started this, you were at like 2,500.
yeah.
Or not even 2,500, I don't think.
Yeah. I know, it's crazy. So I'm hoping, like, my goal was to hit 4K subscribers by the end of August, and that's like pretty much, I'm pretty sure I'll hit that before the end of August. So
Yeah. Awesome.
yeah. So I have two things to report to you.
Okay.
Two big things. One was that the Teachable, I was supposed to have the whole thing done. It is not done, and it's not even recorded, but I have made more progress in terms of the outline. But after this past week, I think I'm going to have to change my goal of, I wanted to launch it and have it go live by the end of the month, I think. But now I'm just going to set the goal of having it done. Not necessarily live, because I still, like, the hard part is like selling it, obviously. So I still want to put together a strategy and make sure that I'm creating enough content where people are, you know, paying for it and stuff. So, but I just want it to be done. Like, I want to be able to say that it is done and recorded. And then if I need to take more time in, you know, the later part of the year to promote it, then fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
So your goal of, I had September 1st as your goal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So September 1st is like to finish creating a class and recording it and having it done.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not gonna like put it out there yet until I'll probably put it out on like October 1st.
Okay. That's fair.
So, but the reason is because, and this is why I was asking you whether Ninox catered, was I am gonna host a progress party on Friday, September 8th. I don't know how I came up with the idea, but I was like, you know what, I need to throw an event that, one, acknowledges my progress, two, allows me to thank everyone who's like supported me along the way, because I think what it was is that I saw these people having events that commemorated like, oh, our new website's up, or oh, we're, you know, our 2-year anniversary or whatever. And I'm just like, I'm never going to have that. So I'm just going to throw it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Just progress. And then third, it's going to be my first meet and greet. So it's going to be at WeWork. And I asked the community manager, like, am I allowed to invite the internet and like just everyone? And he was like, yeah, the more people we could have here touring the space, the better. So I'm calling it Heather's Happy Hour IRL, a progress party. And it's going to be Friday, September 8th, and everyone's invited. So yeah.
Cool. That it actually works out because I am leaving the country.
Oh, shoot.
I'm going out of town on the 21st, and I come back on September 5th.
Oh, sweet. Perfect.
Yep. So that works out perfectly, actually.
Yeah. So
is it going to be at night?
It's going to be from 6 to 9.
Okay.
It's going to be 21 and up, just because I'm obviously going to have adult beverages. But yeah, I have my list of people that I'm going to invite, and I'm going to basically invite like anyone in my career too. So I guess that's the difference. Like, you know, obviously friends are invited, but I want to invite like my professional network.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it'll be a really good networking opportunity for people that go also. But then like, yeah, the meet and greet, like that's just full on, like, you know, I'm telling YouTube, I've already made a couple vlogs that are, you know, saving the date. And then hopefully in the next 2 days, I can create a video of like, this is the official invitation. I think like what I was worried about was like, just inviting the internet and like all the scary things that could come along with that. But I'm going to do it that there's a guest list. So if people want to go, they have to RSVP on a Facebook event. And then I'm just going to get like, I don't know, someone to like stand at the gate, and you have to be like on the list before you get in.
Yeah.
Just so that I can see a profile,
Right. Yeah, I was going to say that's a good idea. If you want, you could check out Eventbrite. I've used that for a public invite everyone event in the past, and it worked out really well.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I didn't. Like because I've used Eventbrite too, but for some reason like Facebook stuck out to me, and I think a part of it was like I want to promote my Facebook page too.
Got it. Okay.
So
that's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, Jermaine, I don't know if you heard, but yeah, if you can come, if you're around in LA Friday, September 8th, I'd so love for you to be there, dude. It's just gonna be a party. It'd be fun. But yeah, Krissa, catering, food. I need food.
I got you.
Yeah. Like because I'm very embarrassed to say this, and I will change this by. When are you leaving? 25th?
21st.
21st. Okay. I wonder if I could change that before you leave. But I haven't never gone to your restaurant.
Oh, I know. You have done.
Yeah. That's why I hit you up and I was like, we need to vlog, and it needs to be like August. So
yeah. I didn't realize the 21st is in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I know. I'm scared.
I just got back. And I'm leaving the country again. Well, not leaving it, but I'm going out of town again. But yeah.
So, I don't want to provide like full on dinner, even though it's dinner time, but I just don't.
Yeah, of course. It's more of like a cocktail type.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, appetizers, desserts, or whatever. So I just trust you, and you tell me like how much it's gonna be.
Okay, we can do like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We'll talk about it. We can put something together, depending on how many like items you want to provide.
Yeah. Okay.
And how many people you think are gonna?
I have no idea. So yeah, I mean, like, you'll be on the Facebook event, so
yeah.
I think by the end of the week, when I actually send out invitations, you'll have a better idea. I'll have a better idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, worst case scenario, like you hit a cap and just say, like, I'm expecting, I don't know, I'll just round number 100 or something.
Well, I'll cut it off. I'll be like, you need to RSVP like by this date.
Okay.
I'm sorry if you don't. But I count.
Because I was gonna say, if you want, you can just say food is from this time, and then once it runs out, it runs out. I mean, that's really up to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk about it more in detail.
Cool. Yeah. So because of that, because of planning that, that's also what is like pushing the Teachable thing.
Yeah.
I was like, this is kind of like for real time sensitive, and I could just make it easy. Everyone just show up, and that's it. But I can't. I like, because of the people that are going to be there. I really want the event to be fun. Like, I need to create a fun thing. So yeah.
And I'm sure it'll be great. So, especially since you have the venue. That's the easiest part. You know? Like, you've got a place, and it's a cool place to go. It'll benefit them in a huge way. Like they said, the more people touring the space, the better. And then it's just a matter of like getting the people in there. So
yeah,
it's gonna be cool. That's exciting. I can't wait. Yeah. I will definitely be there.
Yay! I hope you can be there. Yeah, because I'm sure I'm gonna do something. Yeah, we'll talk more about it.
Okay.
Okay. Besides that, I think that's it. That's pretty much all I wanted to report on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we pretty much. So, what's your plan for this upcoming week?
So I definitely want to get the invite out, for sure. And then I want to catch up on all my clients. Well, because this is what I do for my clients. Like and this is bad. I kind of do them every day when I should try to like get ahead. Because, you know, it's like social media management. So I like post every day, but I should just like schedule a post. So I'd like to do that for August. And then I have so much editing to do. I'd love, you know, it would be such a miracle if like all my vlogs are just edited by that'd be so awesome. But I think like as I grow in my vlogging skills, it doesn't make things easier. It actually makes it more complicated because now I'm like, well, I gotta do it better, you know?
Right.
So, but yeah, those are my goals. Really, like the main goal is to get the invite out.
Got it.
Because I'm also like, there's a part of me that's like, you know, I don't care who comes. That there are people that I want there, but there's also like, you know, a part of me that's like, oh God, it would suck if like no one came.
Yeah.
So
no, people will come. I'm sure of it.
yeah.
I don't think that's anything to really worry about.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So for me, I want to kind of start making the shift for my website, my main website, for it to be kind of more strictly informational and deactivating my Shopify site because I actually pay $30 a month for the Shopify site. So that'll save me $30 a month. And then just link back to Etsy if, on the shop link, just so that people can still purchase stuff. And then kind of, not the word's not revamp, but just make a presentable website just so that the information's still there. It's just, you know, not on Shopify. So that's going to take a little bit of time.
You're like starting the process of like, you know, shifting gears.
Yeah. And then I want to kind of, I haven't been blogging, so I guess also switching gears with that because I used to be really good about just planning out content and figuring out what it is that I want to write and sharing a lot of things, not just milestones, which is basically all I've been doing, but just all-encompassing life stuff, you know. It just started to feel really cold and like uninteresting to me. So I just want to go back to writing recipes and you know, just more interesting, fun stuff to mix into business banter and business talk, just to give the blog a little bit more life.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea.
And then last thing, actually, which I should do right after this, I should, but I don't know if I will, is remember that collab that I told you about?
Oh yeah, the Todoist one.
Yeah, so yeah. I haven't filmed it yet. And I was supposed to do it before I left for Las Vegas market, but you know that ain't going to happen. It was just not, it wasn't going to happen. I was way too ambitious. So I want to film it because I want to send it to him this week so that he can post it next. He said he posts on Tuesdays, I think. So I want to be able to film, edit, and then send it to him so that he has enough time to like add his intro and outro and all that stuff before he posts. And I wanted to do another video, but I honestly don't think it's going to happen until maybe a week or two from now. But at the very least, just his video, because I promised it to him already, and you know, it's not like he's putting the pressure on me, but I'm putting the pressure on myself.
Yeah, of course.
You know, I want to be able to get it done.
Start to catch up on you.
Yeah, yeah. And my channel, I mean, I have not posted anything in like weeks. And then before that, maybe months. And so I know that it would be a great opportunity for me to just grow my viewership from my blog at the same time. So it's just something that I've just got to get done. And, you know, I think it's a perfect, what's that called? It's a perfect like stepping stone or catapult into the idea of focusing Creative Cartel solely on entrepreneurs, because you know, to do with productivity, it'll drive people to my blog, and then the transformation process, people being able to see that, I think will be really good.
Yes, I totally agree. I actually have you as a featured channel on my channel. I don't know if you saw that. Is it your channel?
No.
It's just good bad foodie.
Huh?
So if you go to my YouTube channel, like the front page, you could feature your favorite channels on the side.
Oh.
Yeah, you're one of. Well, I don't know if I put you on there, but Good Bad Foodie is for sure on there.
Okay. Speaking of Good Bad Foodie, I was talking to Charlie about that too, and that is going to be something really interesting. We were talking about it also on the way home, and that's going to be really fun. We kind of have like something like a good idea, but we've just got to. The thing is, we have to execute it.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like we can have all ideas all day long.
Of course, it's execution. Yeah. Actually, this is a really cool idea that I am executing, and I wanted to share. Is that Patreon live stream last week, and I asked them, I was like, you know, what do you guys want, since you guys are the hardcore fans, for the event? And one of them came up with an idea of doing like a VIP Patreon like only section, and then maybe like they get an extra hour to like hang out or something. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So yeah, I'm gonna do that.
That is a really good idea.
Yeah, that's like what I'm starting to do more of is think like a fan, because it's so weird. It's weird. It's the weirdest thing, but I need to start doing that more. Like I dubbed my audience and I gave them a name, creator fan. But
oh yeah, I saw that. I read that in the email that I got from Patreon.
Yeah, which is so like, oh, I'm so glad I have a name that feels good. Yeah, so But RP Gaming has a question that we can end on, and it's, what tips would you give to someone that wants to be an entrepreneur? And based on what I know off of RP Gaming, like I think they don't know much about what it means to be an entrepreneur. So, because I know this question's like, well, we can write books, but that just context. Yeah, like maybe we could start with what does it mean to be like, so I think they're a student, put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the first, I have 3 tips always. Like the first thing, sorry, my dog is barking. I don't know why. I always have 3 tips for people that approach me and just say, hey, can I pick your brain? Or, hey, I have this great idea. Can I share it with you? The first thing is if you want to become an entrepreneur, then do something about it. Just like what we were talking about, execution is key. There's tons of people out there with great ideas, but only a select few will actually do something about it. You know, the second thing that I always tell people is it's not easy. You know, there's money involved, there's time involved. So be prepared to go to school and do this on top of that, have a full-time job and do it on top of that. Be prepared to, or if you're going to quit your job, be prepared to struggle financially. There's just always going to be some kind of struggle. You know, no matter what, if you're a entrepreneur that's going to stay relevant, there's always going to be some kind of struggle. And if you're coasting and you're comfortable, then that means there's only one way to go, and it's depending on how good or bad it is, either going to quickly decline or you're going to slowly start to see your business start to go like this.
Yeah.
So you've always got to challenge yourself so that you're always on the up and up.
Yes.
You know? And the third thing is, even though it's really hard, it's going to be one of the most rewarding things you ever do.
For
you
sure.
Have to stick to it. You just have to believe and you have to stick to it. No matter how hard or how tired you are, if you really want to be an entrepreneur, you got to just push through it because it's worth it.
Okay. I don't know if it's 3 tips, but here are my tips. If you're a student, okay, you have the privilege that me and Carissa did not have of 1, the internet, and 2, you don't have to worry about money at all because you've got parents that are worrying about that for you. So that means you are in a very unique position that you will never be in for the rest of your life. So if you can start building a personal brand as a student, which means, thinking about if you made it, if you, like, say you got, 5 million followers, what would it all look like at the end? What do you want to be known for? What kind of content would you be creating? What would you be selling? Is it a book? Is it food like Carissa? Is it, birthday cards? Is it vlogs like me? You have to think about whatever it is. And think about, because whatever it is that you're selling, whether it's a product or a service, it comes down to your philosophy on something. So for me, it's like I'm selling vlogs, but my philosophy is creating and empowering people to discover their potential to create. So I try to have that reflected in everything that I create. So I think at a young age, it's really hard to understand like what that is because you're still like finding yourself. And the more that you can, the way that you can find yourself is to try more things, because then you start to learn, like, I don't like this, but I like this. And you won't know that until you try. But yeah, especially as a student, like, you can start creating a brand now. Like, start tweeting, start a blog, start creating content. But I think what I noticed, especially with students, is that you guys will compare yourselves to really big YouTubers, for example, and you'll try to do what they're doing, but you don't want to do that. Like, don't do exactly what they're doing. Just copy the techniques, because that's not copying. It's like sharing techniques is not, how do I explain this? Like, if you copied me, then I would be flattered. I wouldn't be offended. I'd be excited that I've motivated you to do that. So that's how you should see your other YouTubers. Like, if there's a really big YouTuber who's like doing makeup tutorials or whatever, or gaming, like, see how they film the video, see where in the video they get the most comments and why. And then like figure out how you can play your games the way that you would, but then use their same techniques. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, Carissa? You know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So like Casey Neistat, for example, he's my favorite vlogger, but there's no, like, I'm not, a 35-year-old ex-HBO director. Like, I'm never going to be able to create the same content that he does. But, I watched his vlogs and I really like the time lapses that he does. So a technique is adding time lapses to the beginning of a vlog, but I do my time lapses my own way, from my perspective, here in Long Beach, where I live. Like, I'm not going to go to New York and do it exactly the way that he does, because it's like, why do what is already being done? So, okay.
And I think there's something to be said about things that have been done. As long as you do it through your own eyes, it's always going to be different, you know? And I think as a young person, it's really hard to kind of see that, because we're exposed to so many things. And then sometimes when you're in that negative place, you think, well, everything's been done already. I want to be an entrepreneur, but what is there left to do? Trust me, there is.
Yeah.
You've got to believe in your perspective, and you've got to believe in what you have to offer, no matter what business or thing you want to do. And going off of what Heather said too about personal branding, take it from a person that learned the old school way, because my parents were entrepreneurs. So personal branding had nothing to do with their businesses. Nothing. They were still successful. You know, it's not like they didn't have thriving businesses. However, we're in an age where that is completely different now.
You can control the narrative.
Yes,
you have
exactly.
Power. But if you don't control it, if you don't create content, then you can't control it. And it's very easy for someone else to start talking about you. You know what I mean? Like a restaurant, you're perfect, Krista, because it's like, you know, you have a restaurant and you could let Yelp dictate the narrative, you know, but no, you create your own Instagram account for your restaurant and you start creating content about your food and da da da.
Yeah. And it's really easy as a young person, because I don't know, I don't consider myself young anymore, but as a human being, it's easy for people to come and just say, you know what you should do? You should do this, you know, and it's really easy as a young person to get influenced by a million different things and get pulled a million different ways. But at some point, there are some people that are going to have really valuable advice for you. And then there are going to be things that you just have to brush aside and just kind of take it and just go, okay, but that's not me, you know. And when you're young, it's a perfect opportunity to do what Heather said and just try a bunch of stuff. And many of them didn't work out, you know. There's no harm in trying it out and seeing what happens. And if it doesn't work or you grow out of it, there's no harm in doing something else. You know, a lot of the most successful people that you see out there started with one thing and it turned into something different, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Bovek has a piggyback question off of this. How do you deal with your parents, guardians who deny your ideas or plans that don't follow the typical go to college and get a degree lifestyle? They are a current college student.
I think we can both kind of. You go first. You go first.
So what I did, Bovek, and, you know, I think for both Chris and I, it really depends on your situation. So we're not saying that this is the way that you should do it. It's just the way that we did it. The way that I did it was I just stopped talking to them. And it sucks. Like, that really breaks my heart. But I knew that my parents are very traditional, you know, they're first generation, or like they're immigrants, you know, and they came here with a very set goal in mind of me becoming a doctor. So I don't have I'm financially secure. And for me to just take their dream and throw it out the window because I have these ideas that they don't understand, there was no way that I was going to make them understand. No way. Like, there was nothing that I could say that would make them understand because they don't know what I know, you know? And so because we just kept fighting about it, I actually just decided to, you know, I thought it would be best if we just stopped talking until I could show them something that they would understand. So I got more clients, and then they understood, like, okay, Heather can get clients, which brings in money. And then I started creating vlogs, and they saw the numbers of the views and the subscribers. And then that's something that they can understand. And now they're my number one fans. They don't quite understand, like, you know, what does it mean to be a YouTuber, but they understand the data from the same lens that they were seeing it, as in, like, money. Yes. You know, so like, you have to, I think it sucks when you cause friction just because they don't understand. Like, you have to understand where they're coming from too, you know, like you are their dream. You are their investment. And for you to go off and do your own thing, like, of course they're going to be brokenhearted. So it's like, I had to keep telling myself that, but I also had to come to terms with, like, I knew I wasn't going to make them understand. But I, at the end of the day, I know they want me to be happy. And if I could show them, like, hey, I can do both, like, be happy in my way and be financially secure in my way, I just have to show you. Mm-hmm. Okay, done.
I come from a different background. because both of my parents were entrepreneurs. So the thing with me is I was always a stubborn kid. I would just do what I wanted to do, and even if they said no, I would go off and do it anyway. I think Heather and I were both like that growing up. So
Oh, God.
it kind of translated to what was going to happen in my future. But because both of my parents were entrepreneurs, they know how hard it is to be one. They know how much work they had to put in, how much harder it was for them, especially in the beginning. And I think they didn't want that for me. So just like Heather, first generation immigrants wanted me to become a lawyer, a doctor, an accountant, anything that had a 40-hour work week. What they told me was, you go to school, you go to college, you get a job, you get married, you buy a house, you have a kid. That is your life, basically. And when I was in college at 19 and I told them I wanted to start my own business, they were like, F. Like, they were like, no. So, but that being said, because I was in college when I started my first business, I do have to say you're at a very big advantage, because I know college isn't for everyone. College was not for me, but I went through it and I graduated anyway. So that's the one thing I want to say to you. Keep doing it. I started my first business while I was in college, so that's possible. And I don't know what your business is or what you want to do, but if it's like a product or service that you want to sell, just do it while you're there, because this is a perfect opportunity for you to just try, because you have nothing to lose. You're not throwing away a career. You're not throwing anything away. You're gaining things.
Yeah, you don't have obligations either. Like, you don't have kids.
Yeah. And I know for some, like, people have to pay their own way through college and stuff. And so I'm not saying that it's easy. And I know how hard college is, especially if it's not for you and you're just trying to get through it. I know how hard it is, but this is the perfect opportunity. And start small, and maybe, if you're selling a product, start on Etsy and don't tell them.
Yes, exactly.
Like, once you get to that point, you're like, look, I'm doing it. Look at, I have the sales to show you,
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with doing that, because, like, I know I sell greeting cards, so my product is a small cost. But even if I was selling t-shirts, for example, and it cost me $10 and I was selling the shirts for $15, you can find places where you can just print the shirts as they're needed or as people order. You have no inventory to hold until you get to that point where you're ready to buy in volume. Like, you could start, every business is able to start small. You don't have to jump into this huge, big investment. You could totally do it.
Yes, agreed. And especially in college, like, you hopefully your potential customer is there. Like, you have college students all around you, and teachers, and there's a community there, so you could do stuff on the side or whatever, and just at least learn the skills and learn what it means to brand yourself, sell something, work with clients, all of that. Like, there's just so much to learn.
Yeah. So don't be afraid. Even if they're against it, there's a way to do it without throwing away all your money. You can definitely start small and see if it's even for you. Because sometimes even older entrepreneurs go into it, they have no idea, and then they're in it and they're like, okay, this was a big mistake. Like, I want out, Yeah. And so, hey, why not do it young? Because then that way you know.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I like educationally, well, not even, because I graduated with applied ecology, which I haven't touched since. But everything, the entire college experience was instrumental to the person that I am,
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, like I sucked as a student. I don't even know if I had a 3.0 GPA. I think I had a 2 point something. Like, because I was bio for 3 years. I failed AOChem like 3 times. Like, I just was an awful college student, but I was also like in leadership and student organizations. I volunteered, I had internships, like that all of that has contributed to the person that I am. So because your parents aren't in college with you, and you know, if they want you to go, like, it's not, I don't think it's a waste of time. I think that there's something that you could definitely gain.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of time. Like, unless you're going to be a bio major, you have a lot of time. Like, your classes should only be, you know, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, and then you have the rest of the day. The problem is when you, like, you know, you're like a freshman and you start partying, then you're just,
yeah.
You know, obviously there's a balance with your social life, but you can hustle for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially when you're younger. I remember, and I know you experienced this too, when we were in college, we were going to class, we had dance rehearsal till God knows when, and then we would have class the next morning, and we probably had 2 hours of sleep. And I think for me, like you said, I was a horrible student. I did whatever I could to just get by and graduate. I was not a bookworm. I even went to art school to try and avoid it, and I still barely made it, you know, but it was invaluable. One, because college is a perfect opportunity for you to really see what you're made of. Running on an hour of sleep, if that, trying to study or trying to get your projects done, it really shows your grit, and it expands your network. It just pushes you to a boundary that you never really thought. And I think that's because of the balance between social life and your obligations as a student. And I think that is really invaluable, because even when I was 25, I had no clear idea of what I wanted to do. And I was already graduated 4 years prior to that. You know, I only went to a 2-year college. I got an AA, not in business, but in graphic design. And I just was in and I was out. And even after that, I had no idea what I wanted to do. So in some ways, college just gave me an opportunity to just kind of live and figure it out and try stuff. So use that and seize that.
Yeah, definitely. Hope that helps. We can definitely go on and on, but like, when it comes to these questions, and this is why, a huge reason why Chris and I are doing this live stream is that we want to be able to share our experience. So we love these kinds of questions. And if you guys are watching this on the replay, just comment below and it'll be, you know, we'll address it in the next live stream. So yeah, great questions. Awesome way to end. Thank you, Heather and Krista, for your advice and your time. Thank you for the question. That was fun.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So we gotta get stuff done. So we're gonna end it. And when's the next stream? God, I'm shooting myself here in the foot.
I am free on Friday or Monday.
Okay. Let's do. Okay, I'm the one who messed up for Friday. Okay, Fridays at 11.
Got it.
Fridays at 11.
Okay.
From now on. Okay. So the next stream is going to be Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Hope you guys can tune in. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And we'll catch you guys later. Bye.